We're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live stream. I'm here with Laura from the Bayview Event Center here in Corpus Christi.
Hi, how are you today?
Good, doing awesome. It's nice to meet you virtually and to see a little bit about your event space. I think we're actually going to get started with a virtual tour. So the event space is heart of downtown Corpus Christi, and it's a massive event space. So Laura, we'll go ahead and start this virtual tour, and feel free to kind of talk about it as if you were giving us a tour in person.
Right. Yeah, we were actually lucky we had this made at the beginning of the year, and we've used it quite frequently. So it is a little long. We usually send it out in a link form because it's too large of a file, but we are located downtown, 624 Mesquite Street there. So we are on the corner of Star and Mesquite, and it is a little deceiving. It doesn't look quite so big from the outside as the inside does.
Wow.
So that's our main entry there. If you're having an event, you might have a check-in, sign-in table for a wedding. That's the main bar area. So we have plenty of space. That's the first floor bar, and then we have portable bars too. So we are licensed, and we can take care of all your beverage needs for the party. The main ballroom here is our most popular spot, of course. You don't need to do a lot of decorating, but I've seen it set up in so many different themes and ways and looks. So it's pretty versatile. We did that on purpose, but all those windows are new and replaced, the sconces, the chandeliers. We kept the original concrete floors and resurfaced them. You can hang things from the ceiling. We allow a lot of things that, might be a little restricted in other venues. That's our lounge setup there. And we have a couple different looks. So over the past couple of years that we've been open, we've been buying new equipment and furniture, but what you see there are all things that we have in-house. So that's our wooden farmhouse table, and we've got the big staircase there. Second floor was never an original part of the building. So that's kind of cool that they built the second floor in. There's a couple different ceiling heights up there. We do have an elevator. This is our Pearl mezzanine. So we have cocktail hour up here a lot. We do, now we're going into the Emerald room. And this is a popular meeting room. We do some showers or smaller events. The seat's about 50, so it's much smaller than the ballroom, but it can also be combined, to the whole venue, because we've done like expos and different things where they just want the whole space. So that's kind of fun to use the whole. It's 13,000 square feet, so it is. Wow. It is quite big. So this heads back into the Pearl mezzanine, which is on top of the ballroom. So both of those rooms usually rent together, and they can be set up in, any way. There's a little windowsill on the back there too that we sometimes decorate. That bar can be moved anywhere on the second floor. So again, everything's pretty movable and versatile, and whatever vision you have, we'll try to bring to life. This is one of our guest suites. So this is the Onyx suite. If you have a volunteer group that needs a room to get dressed in. This we use a lot for photos. We're actually doing some construction in this room, and we're going to be combining it with this other suite. So these two suites that you see right now are actually just going to get bigger and better. That's where I'm sitting right now. This is our Opal suite, and this is usually the bride's room or a green room for your band. It has its own restroom. And you've got that natural light too. So we do a lot of photo shoots and like bridal portraits.
Yeah, the lighting is
a lot of little flower girls running around, or so you can get your hair and makeup done all day. So this kind of goes back and shows you some different looks of the venue. The staircase is so popular for photos too, and it makes a nice grand entrance. We've even had people do awards up there, as like a mini stage, and pass those out.
Cool.
So
that's so nice.
Yeah, most people don't realize we're so big and we're downtown. We've been open for just over 2 years now, and we're ready to book your next event.
That's so great. So yeah, you were saying that you can have events, from you can just reserve one room or you can reserve the whole place, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
very cool.
So this is our common area on the first floor. We do have restrooms on both floors, so there's plenty of them. I think there's 17 stalls in the building. We do have some local art hanging, and we try to switch that out. There's an ATM. Of course, we take, cash and credit at the bar, and then this goes back into our catering kitchen. So we allow all of our clients to bring in any licensed caterer to feed your event, and they have a small prep area in the back. We do eventually someday maybe want to build out a kitchen, but living through 2 hurricanes and a pandemic in the first 2 years of business, we put a hold on any future construction projects besides the suites. So that gives you a pretty good overview of the venue. So when you can't see it in person, you can kind of know what it feels like.
Right. Yeah, no,
to
that
be.
was great. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that and giving some information about each room, because I was so curious about how many rooms there were and all of that. So that is so great. Well, I'm curious to know a little bit of background, and I think everyone would kind of know, a little bit about yourself, how you got into the business, and then also just how the event space came to be. You said it was a couple years old, so it's a little bit recent, but I'd love to hear more about that.
Sure. Well, a little bit about myself. I actually grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. I worked for a large hotel chain that led me to San Antonio. And my husband's from Corpus Christi or Portland. And so I moved here about almost 8 years ago and worked for some local catering companies and venues. I have a event company on my own as well, but I got brought into the project when we were still under construction. So a lot of, the design, everything had been done, but because we were delayed with Harvey, I got to see a little bit of the construction side. I mean, the second floor was there, but the staircase kind of went to nowhere. So it's really been cool to see the building transform, because our owner bought this building maybe 8 to 10 years ago and started developing it about 4 years ago. And they had different ideas. They were going to do condos, retail space, trying to see what downtown needed. And they decided on a venue. Our owner's his name is Dr. Jeff Allen, and he's a dentist practicing out of Houston. So this was going to be his retirement baby or plan. Right. And he still doesn't move down here full time, but he comes and visits, and of course is always trying to do new improvement projects. But the renovation took a little over 3 years, and they tried to keep as much of the history in the building as they could. I mean, to be honest, it was in bad shape. There were trees, trash, it had been set vacant for a long time. And I think people kind of forgot about that corner of Star and Mesquite downtown because it had been boarded up for so long. So we opened one of the very last days of March of 2018. We had a really nice big open house kickoff party with a lot of the vendors, and been going ever since. So we did receive the Texas Landmark Commission's Historic Preservation Award last year, which was pretty cool. So we're not designated as a historic building, but we did our renovation with restoration in mind. So a couple cool things about the ballroom, those brick pillars that you see, that brick was all found throughout the building. There were always support structures there, but they weren't quite as pretty. And so they repurposed those. Some of the wood in the staircase were found when they were putting in the second water line. There were railroad tracks in the building and outside of the building that weren't on any city plans. So that was kind of, it's a hindrance to construction, but it was kind of cool. Yeah. So they used those throughout the bar and some of the woodwork throughout the building. And I just love it. It used to be the Taylor Brothers jewelry store. So back in the day, it was a fine jewelry store downtown. Their entrance was on the other side on Star Street. But I've heard so many stories from ladies and men that, I bought my wife engagement ring there, or my anniversary jewelry. And that's why we named it the Bay Jewel. So we're trying to keep that history alive in some way. And we actually do have an original Taylor Brothers sign on the side of the building that we're going to get restored someday. So
that's so cool. Yeah, I love that you're keeping all of the history there. That's really great.
Yeah, you have to put in new windows and all of those modern conveniences, but it is a nice story, and I feel like that history kind of just lives on downtown.
Right. That's so great. Awesome. Yeah. So leading up to, I think, people would like to know with what's going on in the world today, it's a little bit harder to get out, do things, whatever. So with COVID and everything. So give us a little bit of, what you guys do to follow protocol during these times to ensure it's safe, but also super fun for everybody.
Yes. So, I mean, we felt it like a lot of people did, between March, and we were actually closed down until June, when we were, allowed to reopen, and we've been following all of the county, state mandates. So we call it celebrating safely, and also we try to practice contactless events. Mm-hmm. So we went through every step of our, regular event day, and we said, how can we make this safer and, not have everybody, hands-on as they used to. So we've spoken with caterers to provide plated meals instead of buffets. We've kind of put a little like rope and stanchion or some little thing around the cake if people decide to have a tiered cake. But people are doing like little individual things now too, and kind of changing up their thing. We've seen people with masks for party favors or little hand sanitizers, and people, just getting really cute and creative, because we're all trying our best, to make everyone's event, how they dreamed it to be, but we still have to keep in mind that we are during a pandemic. So masks are required at our venue, but then when you're seated at a table with your family, you can social distance or be with the group that you came in. So there's all sorts of things. We have a greeter at the door so people don't have to touch the doorknobs. We put door stops on the main doors so you're touching things less. We have sanitation stations everywhere, and depending on what type of event is it, we'll have a restroom attendant sanitizing everything after each use, or if that's a little too intrusive, we do it every 30 minutes, because each event's different. And we ask all of our clients, we have some clients that have asked us to have temperature checks at the front door, and we do that. We have the temperature thermometer gun, and that's not required, but some people feel better doing that. So we've kind of found that balance. We're doing the minimum, if not more. And we just got these yesterday. So
I love that.
Our whole team has Bejewel face masks, and I'll give a shout out to Milestones because they gave us, they didn't give us these, we bought them, but they're a local business and they do a lot of custom engraving. And so we use them a lot for our clients. But, I would say we've had about over half of our events each month postpone, and we've been working with clients. Our normal contract says no refunds, and, we've just tried to work with our clients in each individual event to try to move all their money forward on a date that's going to work for them and for us, because some people that were in March events, they wanted to reschedule for this summer. And then, we've had these ups and downs through June and August. Right. And so we're seeing people reschedule for the second time, or we have people just kind of waiting to see. We're trying to be as flexible as we can, but still keep the business open and running and our ownership happy. So sometimes I joke that we're not only event planners, but, counselors and
right.
Just here to listen.
Is stressful, right? And then something like this happening and really impacting. It's just, I can't even imagine. So that's really important that you guys are there to help them and make it as, simple and painless as possible.
Yes. And, things have been changing quickly. So I'm always listening, to the updates, here locally. And, Barbara Canales was on a chamber meeting the other day, so we got some information from her. So we're just doing the best we can with the circumstance. And, the people that have shown up have been very respectful. We have seen a little bit of a decrease in people's guest numbers, but people are very happy and they're, I think, excited to be out. We've had people comment that say this is cleaner than my kids' school. I feel more comfortable here than going to like H-E-B or Walmart. So that reassures us that we're doing the right things, and we constantly try to improve on that too.
That's great. That is so great. You're working with what you got. And I mean, looking at the photos, it is so gorgeous there. I love the chandeliers. Wow.
Thank
And
you.
so with that flooring, did that flooring get redone, or was that the floor that was there? Is it just?
It was the concrete. We did have it stained. We're probably going to have to update that with all the, in and out and people that are here. So we'll get that resurfaced. But yeah, it's real pretty. I love the stained concrete. I wanted to get it in my house, but can't do that on Pier and Beam in Corpus Christi.
Well, it's pretty. I love it. Well, that's so gorgeous. So you were telling me a little bit that there are a couple fun events coming up. So I'd love to hear about those and tell people, how they can contact or get involved, reach you as well.
Yeah. So, normally we would do a big open house a couple times a year, usually in January and July. We didn't get to do one this year, and people still, the virtual tour is nice, but before you sign a contract, people still want to come see the venue in person. Right. And so we're still working from home part-time. We're only here at the venue when we have events or we have to set up or clean up our events. And so we've come up with this mini open house series, and we had one last month and it went really well. And so instead of your traditional, everybody come in and there's a bunch of vendors and we have 300 people in the building, we're doing what we call a mini open house. And so our theme this month is called Where's the Dance Floor? Because even though dancing has some restrictions right now, that's a common question that people ask, because if you haven't set up an event and you see this big open room and you're trying to imagine your event there, people say, well, where is it? We need a big dance floor, because especially here in South Texas, everybody is a big dancer and we have a big family that likes to dance. So they request for a larger one. So that's kind of how the idea came. And then we partnered up with some other local vendors. CC Ballroom by the Bay is going to be here with a couple of instructors, and they're going to give some first dance advice and maybe a few demos if anyone's interested. We also have Forever Embellished Photography that's going to be here showcasing their services, and Party Perfect Decor. So, it's definitely a lot different from 300 people, 30 vendors, a big packed party. But again, we're limiting, so you do have to sign up. So you can email info@thebayjewel.com. You can call us. You can, direct message us on any of the social platforms. But we're really limiting each hour the number of groups. So, if you're going to come in with your mom, dad, and cousin, then that's 4 people. And so we limit it to maybe 10 to 15 people per hour. And then we'll fill up those spots, and they'll get a semi-private tour with our team here and get to see the venue kind of in action, as I like to call it. It's really different coming in when you can see a setup. So we're going to have about seating for 125. Of course, no one will be sitting there. It'll just kind of show you what the room looks like and some different options. And then we'll have some samples of, last time we did a scavenger hunt, which was really fun. So people had to find things around the building. And we also have a lower deposit. If you book on Sunday, it's only $500 to save your date. I think that's something too that, during a pandemic, non-refundable deposits are a little scary, but it's a little scary for a business too, not knowing and holding these dates, when maybe someone else might book them. So we've made the deposit, much smaller to make that a little bit more manageable for people. Our packages, we have so many different options. You can rent the room completely empty and bring in your own vendors and, do all the work yourself, or you can book a full service package where we do everything for you and you just kind of sit back and say, yes, no, this is what I want. And then there can be something in between. So it's really flexible.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's our little flyer.
Yeah, oh, that's the flyer. Oh, that is awesome. And I saw this is on your Instagram as well. If you guys are interested in getting more information, but awesome. Great. And then is there anything else that you wanted to share while we're on here?
We just want to thank ShopLocalCC for thinking of us. I think we've done a couple events throughout the years with y'all, and we love being a supporter. We're excited for there's a rumor art walks might be coming back and these events downtown. Obviously, there won't be any festivals, but we're a big community supporter. So if anybody's out there looking, we have a lot of dates available for 2020. So we're working with people on some discounts, but it's just based on, what we have available and what type of event.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was amazing. It was great to learn more about you and your space, and this May House was really fun. Even though I don't have an event to plan, I just want to go.
Well, and you don't have to be looking to book an event, but we do ask that you still sign up for a time frame, just so we don't have too many walk-ins at the same time.
Awesome. Will do. Well, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you, Laura. And thank you to those who tuned in live, and we will see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Have a great weekend.